What's up, light bearers? Welcome to Light Tap, a Vivised podcast. My name is Melissa.
And I'm Emily.
And today we're going to be talking about
doing good.
We had a hard time trying to figure out this title today. But we came out, with doing good. Like, that is the main thing that we're going to talk about. Like, doing good. And so we're going to jump right into, actually, before we jump in... Disclaimer. This is just a light tap into the subject. Remember, if you are trying to go deep, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, please open up your Bibles. This is the perfect time for you guys to do that and spend some time with the Lord and have the Holy Spirit just, talk
have
to
him
you.
Reveal himself to you.
A través de la palabra.
Yeah.
Don't just rely on people. Like, do your homework, people.
Yeah.
Also, if you like our shirts, today we have the white Salt and Light t-shirt design, and this is just like your regular white tee, but it's cuffed on the sleeves, so you don't have to be cuffing them. Dun, 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 dun. It's a perfect staple. Like, this is one of my favorite shirts. I have like a whole bunch, actually, because I like to wear them for everything. And so yeah. All right, Galatians. We're gonna read Galatians 6:9-10. Emily will read it in English, and then I'll read it in Spanish.
It says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers."
Gálatas 6:9-10 dice: Así que no nos cansemos de hacer el bien, porque si seguimos haciéndolo, Dios nos premiará a su debido tiempo. Siempre que nos sea posible, hagamos el bien a todos, pero especialmente a los seguidores de Cristo. So, why we wanted to talk about this topic, right? First thing is, as you know, as we have been talking about it in this podcast forever, and it's obvious to you guys if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, this board right here, wait, where is it? Right here is empty. And that's one of our like main boards up there. And it's where we get to be the salt and light. And so as you can see, we share the gospel through our podcast. This is where we get to talk about Jesus. Obviously, we get to do it on a daily basis with conversations and relationships that we have outside of here. But we get to do it in a wider range at the same time through this podcast. We also have our Wear the Gospel, dun, 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 through our shopvividset.com, but be the salt and light. And so forever now, I have been talking about how, we really want to be the salt and light. It's not just about preaching it. It's not just about wearing it. It's just not about all of this stuff, but it's actually about putting our words into action.
Of course.
And so I've taken this time to really like look at different organizations that I want to work with. Obviously, para las personas que saw our what we believe in or what our thoughts on the Roe v. Wade situation, nuestra camisa que es de Luz y Sal Somos, those cells go directly, like a percentage of it go directly to the pregnancy crisis centers. A couple that are linked in that episode, but everything else from now on, we want to give a percentage to this organization in El Salvador. If you don't know, now you know, but we are Salvadorian.
Yeah.
Nosotros,
proud Salvadorians.
Yes, no nacimos allá,
no.
Nacimos aquí, but
nuestra familia is there.
Yeah, de El Salvador. That's where we come from, and we are super, super proud of where our roots come from, where our family comes from. And we just love El Pulgarcito. Entonces, I found this organization that really ties into our same values and our same vision, and it's called En Visión El Salvador. And it's an organization that helps teenagers have a place where they can get different ayuda. Como they have tutoriales como de math, teach them English. They have computers there available for students to go in there and do their homework. They have this extra group called La Fuente, where they worship the Lord. Like, they have like people that give word and do también diferentes actividades. They have a soccer team for the girls, they have a soccer team for the guys, and so it's all para mantenerlos a los jóvenes unidos, y no solamente eso, pero like their main idea, and we'll link that organization here in this podcast, but their main idea is para que tengan la oportunidad de ser alguien más other than tener oportunidades como de join gangs. And so have these like build those have the resources, sorry I'm losing my words, but have resources available for these teens to focus on something else, and they even have becas for kids that want to continue their education. And again, it's all para mantenerlos fuera de pandillas.
Just setting them up for success, keeping them busy, and making sure that they have a good foundation for a better future.
And Christ being the center of it all.
Exactly.
Which is what we're about. And so we are partnering with them. All the sales from Vivid said a percentage will always go to Envisión El Salvador. So we are super excited to be partnering with them, and soon I'm gonna have their information here. I'm gonna have their like little logo and stuff like that on here, and yeah, I'm excited. So anything that you guys buy from shopvividset.com, again, a percentage will go to Envisión El Salvador. So where have we been? Where have we been? Obviously, I was talking to Emily. I've been tired.
Sometimes just life just pulls you down and you're like, dang, like I need a second to climb back up because ain't nothing gonna keep me down, first of all. But sometimes life happens.
Yeah.
People get sick, there's work and family and church and just overall life.
And honestly, it's been crazy because all of the above has been happening for me. And yeah, like I've been tired, honestly. And not that this podcast, like having a conversation, is tiring. It's not. But at the same time, it's like I was telling you, like we come on here and we're fake, or we just take a minute to catch our breath and then come back when we're able to pour out of the abundance of what has been poured into us.
Because if you've been busy all this time with, life and everyday things, and you don't take care of yourself spiritually, and your cup is not full, what do you have to pour into somebody else?
Exactly, nada. Literal fumes. And so we don't want to run into that again. Well, I don't want to run into that. And so I took this month to really kind of like do everything else that I have to do, just because those are things that I have to do. Like I have to be a mom, I have to cook, I have to I have to go to work, I have to do these things. But I also have been able to like get poured on. I know like this month has been super like just such a blessing as far as in like church and what we have received and stuff like that. So I've been like pouring in and like taking moments to really have that talk with God about different areas in our lives, and so that we're able to come back. But today's verse, it says, let us not become weary of doing good. No nos cansemos de hacer el bien. And we're talking about being tired, right? So has there ever been a situation in your life, Emily, where you're tired and it can seem like you're giving up on something, but you're just like catching a break breath or something?
All the time.
Just the other day.
I just have this, I don't know. Look, I do know. Let me stop myself. I know that like I am not perfect. Let's just say that right now.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, but I do know, and I know this because I have proof of everything that has happened in my life, that I am a threat to the devil. I really am. How the heck do I keep getting into this?
Pastor said something that made me laugh so much, because I'm such a visionary person. And so when people are talking, like I can picture it.
You can imagine it, yeah.
Entonces dijo something like que convulsión del diablo or something, and I was just laughing like, yes, that's the type of thing that I want to do.
Yeah, so there has been many times in my life where just things just They never seem to line up for me.
Yeah.
But I was telling a family member recently that every single time I feel like things just can't get any better. And I'm all like, oh, here I am again, being thrown down. Like, what am I going to do now? I don't have another way out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, give me a way out. I'm trusting you. Like, even just recently, Pastor was talking about this and he was just like, tell God, tell him like that you are trusting him and he has to step up for you because the Bible says it, that the Lord is asking you to trust him and put him to test. Yeah. And I was like, okay, Lord, this is my time. And he straight up stepped up for me. And I was like, you never leave me hanging for too long. You never really do. And that was like another confirmation for me that like every single time I feel like I'm getting tired, I'm like, dang, I really cannot catch a break. Like everything just keeps happening to me. And I don't want to sound like woe is me. Like these are like serious things that like they need to be resolved right away, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because if they don't, then I mean, my life is put on hold until this is resolved.
Yeah.
And I really was like, well, I need to find another way. And I know that like if I don't got it, God will provide.
For sure.
And he provided.
Yep.
And Melissa was there to witness it all.
Yes, I was.
Yes. So that's one of the things where every single time I feel like I'm getting tired, I need a break. I need a breather. I need to like step away for a second. God's like, no, you don't got an excuse. What you mean you need a break? What you mean you need to like not go to church this weekend? Or you can't go? Oh, I will give you a way to go. And I'm like, okay, hold on, dame un minuto, espérame. Sí voy a ir, sí voy. Te lo prometo, sí voy. So, yeah, every single time I do feel weary, God is like, I got you. You don't have to find the strength in yourself. Find the strength in me.
Yes.
And I will help you along the way. Just keep doing what you're doing.
That's right. Mm-hmm. It's crazy because, I mean, even just today, like, today is Sunday for us and we just came back from church and it was just like a really, really good preaching. And all of these things that we're reading, like, were talked about in today's preaching, right? And it's like, I know that it's not just in our culture, but in a lot of people, in a lot of cultures, and especially in Christianity, right? Like, we are set. The point is for us to continue to do good for people, right? Que seamos como una ayuda, que seamos la luz y la sal, que seamos como un resource, como un vessel.
We have to be the help. Tenemos que ser la ayuda para otra gente.
Las manos, los pies, you know, para de Dios
de
aquí en la tierra.
A otra gente.
Exactly, like always giving out to people. Entonces, like, that gets tiring. Like, if we are humans, right? Like, yes, we love the Lord. Yes, we want to serve him. Yes, we want to follow him. And yes, we want to be disponibles todo el tiempo para ayudar a la gente. Pero a la misma vez, it gets tiring because también, al igual que nosotros estamos ayudando, también tenemos circunstancias en nuestras vidas that are tiring. De que son difíciles. De que a veces nosotros necesitamos ayuda. Don't even look at me because you told me something today. You know, like me, I have an issue. Like, I sometimes I do need help. Sometimes, and I just don't want to.
And I think it's definitely an issue for a lot of people. I think most of us, once we're grown and we consider ourselves independent, we want to say, yes, I am independent. Yes, I am prideful. I can take care of myself. I don't need nobody's help. I don't need your help.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's good to take other people's help because as much as, and I even had a conversation with my mom where I literally just had this conversation with my mom where, you know, as my responsibility as a daughter is like, okay, if you can't take care of yourself, let me take care of you.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, that's not your responsibility.
Because as parents, you never, like, as parents, you're supposed to give to your kids.
Exactly.
You're supposed to take care of your kids.
Exactly.
Not the way around. And so it's like having that come around to you, it's kind of
hard to accept it. Yes.
You know?
But I think she's having a hard time understanding that, like, hey, I'm getting to an age where, oh, now after everything I gave her, now it's my turn. It's her turn to give to me because I'm getting to a certain age.
Yeah.
And my mom's not old, you guys. She's really not. But she's getting to a point where like all that she poured into her kids is coming back as blessings to her. And she's like, what, Lord? No, like I still need to help them. They're still
So
growing. I should help
crazy.
them. But they're so into like, no. Like it's my job as a
I'm
parent.
telling you, even like as a parent or
Yeah.
Christian or like just being Christians, nosotros estamos tan acostumbrados como a siempre sembrar.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're like seeds here, seeds there. We're pouring into people.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna water you, we're gonna fertilize you, we're gonna do all the things. But when it's time to reap that harvest, we don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Right? Like we don't know how to accept that back.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, trabajaste tanto. You pour into like people. You're
Es como que nosotros no nos sentimos merecedores de aceptar la cosecha que Dios nos quiere dar.
Oh,
And He's
yes.
like, take it, it's yours. Like, you
Yeah.
deserve this.
Yeah.
But we're still like, but no, I don't. Like, no, I'm not worthy. Yeah. Like, I don't want to accept this. But the Lord is telling you, it's time. And it's as us humans, as we want to decide that like, no, like this is how I want to live my life, this is what I want to do, like this is what I am capable of. It's kind of hard to be like, well, maybe I do deserve this, maybe I do need help here or whatever. Yeah, you may be able to handle it, but sometimes it's nice to have help from outside, you know.
for sure.
um
What about when you are giving all the help
yeah
and you're tired, right? Like let's
Yeah.
say like you're always the person that people come to for help. And like especially like your people, whether it's your family, whether it's somebody that you know, whether it's somebody in Christ, and they're continuing to ask for help, and you're tired.
Oof.
Have you ever been there?
I wouldn't say me. I've had family members in those positions, and I have had to like talk to them and be like, hey, like it's okay if you're tired, but also know that there has to be some type of boundary, like a limit. Don't always give 110%.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds hard when it comes to family members.
Yes.
But I gave them this example, okay? I know a lot of, maybe some of you guys, especially if you guys are Hispanic, it's kind of hard for you to hear this coming from somebody as who's Hispanic. I get it. But living it is a different story. But I had to give them this example. If you are giving your family, like example, your parents, if you are taking care of your parents and you're giving them your whole paycheck, then you don't have enough to cover your rent. How are you gonna still provide for your parents when you can't even provide for yourself? If you don't have like, you're gonna end up making yourself sick because you're taking care of them, and all of this time you're just providing, but you're not providing for yourself. Then when it comes for the time that you need to take care of yourself, then everything that you've been giving them will go to you, and then you're not going to be able to help the other person. You're not going to be able to help your parents or anybody else. So in order to help them, you have to also help yourself. And I know it sounds hard because I know most of the time, Melissa knows, I have had instances where I'm like, no, but my money goes here. It has to go here. And I have put myself on the back burner and be like, I can't do this right now. I literally cannot. Like, this is more important than my own health. And then hearing it, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But
Exactly, because it's not right.
But in the moment, like, you know that, like, you're like, I have to do it. I have to help. I can help, so I will help. But you also can't descuidarte yourselves. That also applies
I love
in a
this
spiritual
verse here
level.
that says, therefore, as we have an opportunity, in español dice, siempre que se nos sea posible. Siempre que se nos sea. That means like there are times donde
that
van
we
a ser
cannot.
Posible. And there's going to be times donde no podemos,
Exactly.
right? And so I know that whenever you have talked about like leaving yourself in the back burner with me, I'm always telling you like you cannot take care of others if you are not taken care of. If you are not healthy, how do you expect to take care of other people? And I had to learn that in like a really like bad way, because I was always the person that people come to for different situations, whether it's family, whether it's friends and stuff like that, and I'm again, always like willing to pour into people or help them, or like go out of my way to help them in whatever area. But I also learned that I was like giving so much and I was not pouring into like, or having the moment to like just
receive.
Yes, or like spend time on, and I felt so guilty of like whenever I would take my time back.
Yeah.
Right? Pero es que that's how no nos vamos a cansar. That is how, like, you are going to need some mental breaks here and there. And when I say mental breaks, I don't mean like sentate no hagas nada. No, pero it's like sentate.
Have some time to like recharge.
And you're gonna recharge in donde, in the source, which is Jesus.
Exactly.
Like, si tú te sentís cansado espiritualmente, físicamente, emocionalmente, lo que sea, the best thing to do to recharge and obtener todo lo que tú necesitas para seguir es spending time with him.
I love that you say that, because it's true. Even like the verse says it, as we have an opportunity. So like you said, yes, there will be times that you will not have the opportunity. There will be times that you do. And let that not discourage us from being like, well, now I feel guilty because I don't feel like, since I'm not doing good, I'm not doing my part as a Christian. That's not what that means. Yeah. It just means that you also need to take care of your spiritual life. Like I said before, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't pour into somebody else. You can't take care of somebody else. And like I said, I know it sounds hard,
but when you do have that opportunity to be the salt and light, to be the hands and feet of Jesus, to be a blessing to others,
don't shy away.
Don't get tired in those moments. Porque tú no sabes que quizás ese fue el momento donde realmente Dios le contestó como un prayer,
una oración a
alguien más.
You could have, in that moment, you were probably a blessing to somebody else that really needed it.
Exactly. Y quizás sí, like, vos estás cansado, lo que sea, whatever, right?
And then sometimes we may not even see it. We may not even feel it. But like, I've had people come back later and be like, in that moment, that's exactly what I was needing. And I know you didn't know it. You may not have even known like what effect your words or your donation or your like consejo was for me. But in that moment, literally made me choose the right decision for that moment in my life. And then you won't even know probably until like months, years
or
later.
Or maybe you'll just never know.
Or you will never know.
Exactly, pero saber de que aunque quizás like you were going through situations, pero se dio la oportunidad for you to be a blessing to somebody. You actually took that opportunity and you acted on it, like, and you continue to do good. It's like it's a reward that you will reap in después. Or quizás, you know,
in the right moment, at the right time.
And then that's when you're gonna be like, all right. Eso fue. Like, I remember, like, even talking about, like, talking con los jóvenes que, like, la otra vez estábamos aquí, whatever. I remember, like, even situations donde we would give rides to people. And I will always be like, con Oscar, it was like anytime that anybody needed a ride, it was like, we'll take you. We got you. We'll pick you up. We'll take you home, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. And now I'm like, dang, like, to hear back, like, hey, thank you for like those times that like you even said that right now, like, oh, like, you know, for those years that you helped me out or whatever. And I'm just like, oh yeah,
I did that. Literally, you guys, like, okay, those who know me know, right? Like, I was gonna talk about this into like another podcast, but we gonna lightly mention it, okay? Yeah. Those who know me know that I have problems.
What kind? You have several. I'm just kidding.
I'm a mess, you guys.
No, you're not.
I'm not. I have gotten it together a lot better, and I can honestly say, y con gozo, okay, I can say this with a good and faithful and blessed, gracious heart that I have been seriously blessed, and I have got my act together. But in my younger times, in my younger days, when I was barely entering my 20s, I had a couple little car issues.
Yes.
I had like a couple car accidents. Most of my car accidents have been without me even being in the car. I've been literally in my bed sitting, like, fall asleep, and I have cars
to crash into
just crash into mines and just total it. My car has been totaled like 3 times.
Yeah.
Me not even driving it. Literally, it has been other people, and it's
Yeah.
crazy. And I knew that, like, I was like, okay, look, there's something going on. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but I know that, like, when the time comes, God got me. And during one of these times, I remember that it happened while I was working with you at the clinic.
Yes.
And for some reason, I don't understand why, but Melissa most of the time thinks I'm exaggerating. Why? I don't know. Okay, especially when it comes to real, like, serious situations.
Those are the times that I don't believe you.
She doesn't believe me, and I'm trying to be serious, and I try to downplay it just so she doesn't freak out. And I'm like, hey, so this happened. I'm not coming into work. She's like, what do you mean? What happened?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, my car is totaled. And she was like, what? And so there was, like, a time where I was just like, I don't have the finances right now to get another car. I don't have a temporary car.
Yeah.
Like, the temporary car that we had at that moment was my dad's. So I didn't have a way to go to work or anything. So I remember Melissa straight up, like, not even like a thought. She was like, okay, I'll pick you up. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Make sure you're ready. And I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. And something that I thought was going to be a couple months turned into, like, almost like a full year. I don't even know how long it was. It was more than a year.
Like, yeah, it was
I think it was like almost a year and a half to not two.
No, not
maybe
two.
like a year and a half. And she gave me rides to work every day. And I would go back home with her. And thankfully you live close at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I live close.
But in that time, you were a huge blessing to me because, like, if you didn't give me rights, I wouldn't have had a job at that time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have had the financial ability to even fix my car.
Yeah.
Because I ended up fixing it, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But in that time, you were the blessing that I needed, and I don't think you fully grasped how much help that was to me during that time, because I don't even think, like, I had another choice. Like, I didn't have another way. Like, it was literally get rights from you or quit my job and just stay jobless for a while.
Yeah.
And at that point, that was not an option for me.
Yeah.
So, like, I
so
think
that's where it says, like, donde, like, cuando tengamos there's a possibility, when there's an opportunity to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so I could easily been like, no, like, I'd rather spend this time sleeping or lo que sea, like, take more time, like, getting ready, whatever. But I knew that I could. If I could, why wouldn't I take that opportunity?
Exactly. And then I knew that, like, not only that, like, we left work pretty late. Like, we had we came in early, we left late. And I would always think, like, man, I need to give her gas money. Like, this is the time that her people are coming home and she needs to cook dinner. And she's not even there right now. Yeah. And I always felt guilty, but I always knew that, like, you weren't doing it with, like, you were doing it with a generous heart. Yeah. You weren't thinking, like, damn, she owes me or anything like that.
I hate that.
I would give her gas money and she wouldn't even accept it.
No,
I remember that.
Even like talking about it right now, I'm kind of like uncomfortable. Like, stop talking about this, just because I don't know. Again, it's like that part, right, of like not accepting help. Like, I know that even like this came up in conversation today of like you told me, like, well, you helped me all these years, whatever, when I didn't have a car. And I was like, okay. It's like, so what? And you're like, well, let me help you. And I'm like, no. Absolutely not. And then it's not pride. It's more like I did it because I felt it in my heart to do good.
And you weren't expecting anything back.
I don't expect anything back. And so to me, it's like, if we're going to continue to do good, right? What God has called us, a veces, a su misma palabra dice que es mejor dar que recibir.
Que recibir, yeah.
And that it's like, cuando tenemos esa oportunidad de hacer el bien, hagámoslo.
Yeah.
No nos cansemos de hacer el bien. Sí, te puedes cansar de la vida y todo eso, you can take a break y todo eso, pero aunque estés en tu break, si te da la oportunidad Dios de hacer el bien in your break, hazlo. Porque it's like, that is the best thing to do. Like, again, we were talking about before, no sabes what life you're impacting or what they need in that moment.
Exactly. And then you don't want to, I don't want to say rob, but whenever you are doing good, when God gives you the opportunity, you want them to be able to see God through you.
Yeah.
You want to embody his spirit.
Yeah.
And, you said like, oh, you could have been somebody's blessing and you don't know what effect you had in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine if that person didn't know Christ, or they were not even thinking
or
about,
had like a wrong impression of what Christians are, right? Porque
Exactly.
siempre hablan mal de los cristianos o lo
Yes.
que sea. And like, it's like they really say, like,
Yeah.
sometimes, like, tú vas a ser como, like, the only Bible that they ever read. What if that was,
what
like...
example are you going to give them?
Yes. What
Imagine
did you
if
do in that moment?
Imagine if that one, like, imagine if I wasn't Christian and I was your coworker and you did that for me, like, and I already had a negative connotation about what being a Christian was or how Christian people acted, and you did that for me. That, I know, for me, that would have opened up my eyes and be like, well, I want to know what this is all about. Like, if this is how you are, I want to know what your morals and what your beliefs are.
Yeah.
How did you become this person?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I don't think that, like, just any other random person or even like friends would go a whole year driving somebody else
Without expecting anything.
without expecting anything, without like
Yeah.
using their own gas money to even go that far,
Yeah.
You live close to me, but not close enough to be like, oh, I'm the next neighborhood. No, like, you were a
Yeah.
couple streets away, like a couple
Yeah.
minutes away.
Yeah.
And knowing that, imagine if you can do that to somebody else, right? Whether they're like, if they're non-believers. If we can do that for somebody, just imagine what we can do for somebody that is Christian, who is our
Exactly.
brother or sister in Christ. If we can build that harmonious, like, unit of being a family of believers,
Yeah.
we could really, really, like, embody the spirit of Christ as a unit.
Además, para
as
eso
Christians.
estamos. The word
Exactly.
says de que, like, es mejor dos porque si uno cae, ahí está el otro.
Exactly.
Right? So, esa es una oportunidad. Si alguien se cae, no te rías. Like, like, levantala, ayúdale.
Oh my god. You're so bad. I can't. Oh my goodness. Because if you think about it, like, as a believer, only another believer is going to understand
Yes.
your struggles in your
Yes.
walk of life with God. You know,
Y
and
lo que
non-believers
estás
going to be like, oh,
creyendo.
whatever. Like, yeah.
Yep, they're gonna be right there, like, ayudándote en tu fe,
Yep.
motivating, like, speaking life into you, like, making sure that you continue to push through. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, we're gonna move on to our segment, Am I the Asshole? You ready for this one?
Let's go.
Okay, vamos a ver.
To get ready for this. Like, okay.
Let me sit up.
Okay, so this one says, am I the asshole for not making nice meals for my guests?
No, and that is just because I don't.
She didn't even let me finish like the sentence. Straight up, no.
No, just from reading the title, I don't think so because I don't know how to cook.
Yes, she does, you
tried.
guys. She's being humble. Yes, she does know how to cook.
I don't.
Look, not any other person can cook a whole like caldo de res, okay? Not just random people know how to cook like a freaking.
Maybe I know how to. Whatever I do, I have learned how to cook. I know how to cook it well, pero no me gusta cocinar. And
Which
it's
I get
not
that.
naturally to me. Like, first of all, I don't taste my food, so it's like
I don't understand how you can do that.
I can't. Like, me da asco. So to me, it's like, cook you a nice meal. You better be glad I freaking cooked you what I cooked you. Si no te puedo dar Lunchables, que
We have Lunchables right now in the fridge.
Exactly. Like, you can get some of that.
Oh no.
What do you think? For not making. If I'm your guest, will you make me a nice meal?
I will. Okay, hold on.
What kind
You
of
can pick
guest?
one. Okay, you can pick a nice breakfast. You can pick a nice lunch. You can pick a nice dinner. I'm not cooking all the time for you. I got
pero
things to do.
you would make a nice meal for your guests without them asking you.
Well, the question is for not making nice meals for my guests.
Exactly.
I can make you one nice meal.
Oh, okay.
Don't be asking me for a whole bunch of them.
Oh,
like, because
okay.
if you're a guest in my home, just because you're a guest in my home does not mean my life stops for you. I'm giving you a place to stay. I'm giving you air conditioning. I'm giving you a nice bed. I'm giving you like all these things. Food, you can get food everywhere.
Yeah.
There's no like, welcome to my house. I am now your
Slave.
your cook. I am not your cook for the rest of the time that I'm here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I understand.
I can't. So no, you're not an asshole. But let's just see. Let's
Let's see.
Okay, so it says, my sister came to stay with me recently because she had a job interview in my city. She was here for 2.5 days, and according to what she told my parents, I treated her abysmally. So bad. She treated her bad. Day 1, I picked her up from the airport on my lunch break and dropped her off at my place. I was in a hurry to get back to work. Boss said I could take a long lunch because it was a one-off, but I didn't want to push it and told her I would see her after work. When I got home, my sister said she was starving. There was food already in the house. I suggested we go get curry. Day 2. I made eggs and toast for breakfast. I had to go to work and said I would see her later and good luck on her interview. When I got home from work, she again exclaimed, extreme hunger. I asked if she wanted to grab a bite and then go out or something, since I didn't need to work the next day. She liked that idea, but she seemed in a funk after we ate, and we came back kind of early. The next day, she had a late flight, so I assumed she would want to sleep in, and I also slept in. When I got up, she was in my living room with a mug of tea looking annoyed. I asked if she wanted some breakfast, and she said, a bit late for breakfast, don't you think? It was around 11 a.m. I said I was making eggs and she could have some if she wanted. She said it was almost lunchtime. I said there were sandwich stuff in the kitchen. At this point, my sister got angry and said I hadn't taken her out to eat or made her one nice meal the entire time, and it was so rude and inconsiderate. She asked how she was supposed to live on eggs and curry.
Girl.
I asked her why she didn't order stuff for lunch when I was at work or made something in the kitchen. She called me an idiot and left, saying she didn't need a ride to the airport. Apparently, after she left, she called my parents crying, and they paid for her Uber to the airport. My mom is frustrated with me and asked why I didn't take care of my sister. She said if money was an issue, she could have reimbursed me. I don't understand what's wrong with eggs for breakfast.
Literally.
First of all. Second, I don't understand why my sister didn't just say what she wanted from the outset. My mom said there is a certain way guests are treated, and it's rude for a guest to ask, but also rude for her host not to provide. Is that true? Am I the asshole?
No.
I just want to say, I'm sorry, if your sister, this is a family member, this is her sister, she's coming to a job interview in her city. If you're coming to a job interview, I'm assuming you're legal enough to work.
Exactly.
Okay? If you're legal enough to work,
exactly
you're
what I
a
was
grown
thinking.
up. You're a grown ass woman. You can cook for your own damn self. She even told you there's food in the house. It's okay. Use what I have in my house that I'm giving you for free. I'll take you out to eat later. But she's like, I still have to work. I still have to do all these things. I can't stay home and cook for you just because you're hungry. It's not like, I'm sorry, you have two hands. You can't cook? You can't cook something?
I get it.
Unless her sister is like, I'm assuming because that she went back to her mom. She's still living at home. Her mom still cooks for her all the time.
It doesn't matter. Eso, like, no me importa.
Okay.
This is how I think. Okay, I think like one, she's old enough.
Yeah,
she's
old
coming
enough.
to interview.
She knows better.
You're old enough. You know better. Two, you're not technically a guest. You're my sister. Yes, no vivimos en la misma ciudad. So yes, you're a guest in my house. But I feel like you, for example, you're a guest in my house, but you know that when you come in, I always tell you like, hey, there's food there. Go ahead and get yourself a plate or something. Like even last night, right? Like hice caldo de res or whatever. And I was like, all right, I don't know what you like. And you're like, I like everything. I'm like, okay, no, you get it.
I remember I texted you. I was like, hey, did y'all cook or you want me to pick up? Because I was like, oh, well, I mean, she hasn't cooked. I can always pick up something for everybody. Like, you want me to pick up some wings, some pizza? Let me know, girl. And you were like, no, you said caldo de res. So you were like, I made some soup. Yeah. And I was like, okay, for everybody? Or like, is there enough? If not, I can pick something up. I was like, oh, maybe me and boy can share a pizza or something. And you were like, no, there's enough. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because to me, it's like, yes, they are starting guests. And like, digamos, okay, tengo un cumpleaños. Of course, I'm going to go all out and cook them a meal or lo que sea. But you're my sister. Yes, I understand que quizás ella quiso like spend some time, some quality time with her sister y todo eso. But like, okay, the girl is like working, right? And so like, come on, you're old enough. Okay, so if she
Yeah.
could do, like, maybe she couldn't take off time from work just because you were here. You also
Yeah.
came down for business purpose.
Exactly. That's what I was
not
gonna
for
say.
pleasure.
She came for business. She
Yeah.
didn't come for vacation or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think she was gonna stay for that long. If it was
Literally,
just an
it was like
interview.
2 days or 3
Yeah.
days, algo así. And so to me, it's like, okay, y'all went out for a little bit. Like, you should not be starving yourself. Like, that is so childish to be starving yourself porque tu hermana no te cocinó. Like, come on.
You're a full grown.
At least, like,
woman,
no pagaste hotel, no pagaste something, you know,
Yeah.
while you were interviewing. And then for your mom to be calling you and like frustrated with you that you didn't receive her, well, I don't know. I think it's just parents enabling kids to be crazy.
I mean, for her to like go, I'm sorry for a better term, right? To go running back home and cry to mommy that
Yeah.
she wasn't treated well all because she wasn't given food. I'm sorry. Like, I don't think that's right. I think that, yeah, like you said, like her mom is probably enabling her. And I'm like, okay, if I've even had moments in your house where I'm like, I don't want to be a bother. Like, let me ask her if there's like a snack or something. And you're like, girl, go get yourself a snack. One, because I don't want to be rude. And
Yeah,
two,
yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't know if there's anything, right? Let me like
Yeah.
go get something. But you're always like, ay, hay algo. Go get whatever you need.
Yeah.
Like, I juice, there's water, there's snacks. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, let me get this. But I'm always like a little cautious. I'm like, this is your
But
home and I'm
of
a guest.
course, of course.
Pero
ya
if
tenemos la
this is-
confianza.
yeah, ya tenemos la
enough
confianza,
donde
yeah.
It's like, come on.
And then like we're friends.
Yes.
But this girl, this is her sister. I'm sorry.
Y'all live
like
together
Y'all
at some point in
eventually
your life.
like yeah, in one point in your life before y'all went your separate ways, y'all live together and y'all know how each other are
Yeah.
to the point that you're like, oh, I know what she likes. Da, 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 da. I'm pretty sure the sister was like, well, I have food at home. And this is not food that she doesn't like. She eats this stuff, so she'll be okay.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, una cosa es que
Yeah.
no, la sister, like, okay, like, we're talking about doing good to our people,
Yes.
right? Okay, una cosa hubiera sido de que la sister would have been like, you know what, no, I understand that you're coming in for an interview, pero no te voy a dejar que te quedes en mi casa. O quizás te digo que te quedes en mi casa, but you know what, I'm gonna go out and party. I'm gonna, like, do whatever I need to do. Like, I'm not gonna stop my life for you.
Exactly.
And I don't care, I don't even want to see you, whatever. Una cosa hubiera sido eso, pero she actually cooked for her, lo que sea, and then they went
Yeah.
out to eat. You know what I mean? So there was still
she
something.
did. She went out with her. They went out to go get curry because it was
Yeah.
like a weekend or something. And she was just like, oh, well, let's just, we can still go out. Like, it's not a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah.
But her sister was all pouty and stuff that she was like, well, you ruined the mood. She was like already like, well, I don't want to be here. And she
Exactly.
finally took her out the one moment she can go eat something nice. And to her, that's just not nice enough.
Yeah.
And she was like, I shouldn't have to live off of eggs and curry. Like, damn,
It's
my
just
bad.
2
It's
days.
eggs too. Is that not like not good enough for
relax.
you?
It's 2 days. Otra cosa hubiera sido like, again, if it would
Yeah.
like be a long time, okay, like, you know, this is like all the savings, como que si nosotros vamos para El Salvador, like, obviously, like, that's our savings.
Yeah.
That's a long trip. Lo que sea, obviously, we want, like, not be taken care of, pero, you know, it's nice to feel
Yeah.
like somebody was expecting me, lo que sea, but if I'm just going to like, I don't know,
And it was
on a business
and
trip,
like we said, it's a
or like
business
lo
trip.
que sea, like,
Not
I'm not gonna
vacation.
expect something like that.
Yeah, it's not a what's the word? It's not a trip for leisure. Like, she literally went there for a purpose. She shouldn't be focusing on the benefits, I guess you could say.
Exactly. Okay. I thought that she was an asshole for not cooking.
I didn't
meals.
think so either. Yeah.
So we're almost wrapping up this podcast,
Yes.
this episode. What do you want to leave the people with?
I think that, like I was saying, yes, it's great to like pour into other people, but let's not descuidarnos de nosotros mismos. Let's not, focus on other people so much that we almost take a step back on our personal spiritual relationship with God.
That's right.
Because if we do take a step back when we do need it, we are so focused on like pouring into other people that we can't even accept other people pouring into us.
Yeah.
And we also don't have the energy to even try to pour into ourselves. We're always like, no, I just need to rest. I need to go to sleep. I need to lay down and do nothing.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do have moments like that, and they are needed. But it's also important to always remember, yes, as much as your body needs rest, your spiritual body also needs to be full and healed and contento, satisfecho with the food that you're bringing in. So just remember that it's always good to pour into others whenever we have the opportunity, but let's not forget about ourselves as well.
It's like that verse that says, que mi copa esté rebosando, right? So I think it's like, I think we've heard it in different preachings. I'm pretty sure, like, if you guys have heard preachings, you've heard it into, like, en ese tipo de, como ejemplo, de que, digamos, es un vaso, right? Todo lo que esté lleno hasta the rim, that's for you. Y todo lo que rebalse, that is for, like, people. So, like de lo que overfills, that is for people. And that's, like, basically kind of like what you were saying, right? I think for me, it's like when we have the opportunities, do not get tired of doing good. Even if it's like people that que quizás, if there's people that take advantage of your kindness, of the things that you're doing for them, porque pasa a veces, right?
Yeah, it definitely happens.
Sometimes people take advantage of your kindness, or like, oh, pero sos cristiano, tú tienes que hacerme esto y esto y esto y esto. Obviously, set your boundaries if there is people like that in your life, pero a la misma vez, yo siento como que si a veces realmente unas personas alrededor tuyo necesitan la ayuda y tú les puedes ayudar de una u otra manera. Quizás no es financieramente, quizás no es, quizás en la parte emocional, quizás es like motivándolos, quizás es en whatever area it is. Yo creo que no nos tenemos que cansar de hacer el mal con eso. ¿Sí me entiendes? Sí, tómate tu break, tómate tu, like, take a seat, take a breath, pero keep it pushing. Sigue haciendo el bien. Porque como like we were talking before, no sabes cómo va a impactar eso a esa persona.
Cómo afectar a otra persona.
Yeah.
You don't know what effect you're going to have on somebody else's life.
Yeah. So that is it for today's podcast. We hope that this motivates you to continue doing good wherever you go, wherever you're at. Remember that you are the salt and light of the world. Again, if you want to be a part of being the hands and feet of Jesus and helping these teenagers in El Salvador, you can do that by either clicking on the link in the description of this podcast. You can go directly and make your donations there. Or you can also, purchase any of these Bible inspired or scripture inspired shirts, and we give a percentage to Envisión El Salvador. And that is it for today's podcast, you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.